Hello everyone, I'm Carius, and I need to complain about the SurgeFire. So, I picked myself up a couple SurgeFires with the intent of doing some mods, and the ergonomics of them kind of suck for big hands in terms of, like, it's really cramped pulling the forward handle back, but I can get past that. The real intention was to have swappable drums and buff up the power a little bit and have a nice little spring-powered loaner blaster. So I thought I was being really clever, and I made this, which is a SurgeFire with an actual lever here that lets you swap the drum out. And it works great. You can swap the drums, and I buffed this one up quite a bit, put a new spring in it, removed the air restrictor, and I actually added a tab. Let's see if I can show you. Actually added a tab onto the plunger tube so that when you push the handle forward all the way, it actually forces the plunger tube here forward all the way as well. So it kind of forces it to seal up against the cylinder, which is kind of important if you're increasing the spring power, because, or especially if you're taking out the air restrictor. Because Nerf cylinder blasters, like this one, like the Strong Arm, like the Doominator, even the Hammer Shot, they rely on this weird system where the air restrictor is kind of required for it to operate correctly. The plunger rod will end up not fully sealed up against the cylinder, which means that the air restrictor isn't engaged all the way, and because of this, when you go to fire it, the plunger goes forward, and it forces the plunger tube forward as well, and it engages against the cylinder a little better, it opens up the air flow a little better, and then it fully can fire the dart out. So you end up with a situation where when you take out the air restrictor in a lot of these cylinder blasters, you find the performance decreases because it is leaking air out in between the cylinder before it gets full contact with the cylinder. It's kind of weird. But so yeah, I made this pretty cool system with a Jace 3D Strife mag release to do swappable drums, and I was pretty proud of myself. So then I take this to a Nerf war and realized something completely stupid. This was not designed for swappable drums at all. Because if you actually have ammo in it, it's not going to happen. You see, the darts are just in the way, no matter how you do it. You can kind of crush the darts, but then you can't, then it's this rubbery mess, you can't get it past, and you're just screwed. So, I went through all this work to make this swappable drum that works beautifully, and I never actually tried it with ammo in a drum. And then when I go to try it at a war, it's like, oh. And I could do some carving into the shell, make it so that you can finagle the darts around and probably make it work. But why? It's such a hassle already. It's not that comfortable for my hands and everything, and I'm just not really that impressed with the blaster. And I would put more work into it and try to make it what I want, but there's a problem with that. And that problem is the X-Shot Turbo Advance, which is everything the SurgeFire wants to be when it grows up. So why even bother with the SurgeFire when I have this that already has swappable drums, which I haven't quite figured out. Ah, okay, there we go. I guess. That's interesting. But yeah, that already has swappable drums. It's got over twice the capacity. It's got a lot more potential for modification. It's a lot beefier internals, a lot more power behind it. It's a lot cooler looking, and this thing is going to paint up really nice when I decide to actually seriously mod one. And it's just superior in every way. So, and it's cheaper. So it's just kind of, I've given up on the SurgeFire. I'm going to instead focus on this thing and make this what I want it to be. Because it's such a better blaster in pretty much every respect. So yeah, that's me complaining about the SurgeFire. Just wanted to do a short video showing off what I thought was a really cool mod that ended up just not working at all. Everybody makes stupid mistakes, especially Hasbro. Now, I did actually manage to get some decent performance out of this thing. It's ridiculous. I gotta take out 4 of the darts to get this to go in. That's fine. Another weird thing, in order to even do this mod, I had to decrease the spring power of the drum rotation mech significantly because it's got this ridiculous spring in it. Let's see if I still have it laying around. It doesn't look like I do. Ah, there it is. I do have it. It's got this crazy... Wow, the lighting in here is terrible. It's got this crazy beefy spring that I can't even really compress with my hands. It's ridiculous. And it makes the cylinder super hard to rotate manually. And it also makes it impossible to do this kind of drum swapping mod where I put a bolt through the back of the rotation mech and this pulls it backwards when you push it forward. So I actually had to find a spring that was weaker, and it actually makes the blaster nicer to load because now it rotates way smoother, but it doesn't matter since this is completely impractical for a war. You can't actually... I mean, I guess you could carry drums that had like 4 darts missing and then you're reloading slightly faster, but that's so ridiculous to even have to mess with that I give up. But I did manage to get some decent performance out of this thing with the mod where the plunger gets pressed up against it and I put a much stronger spring in it. It actually hits 100 FPS, which is kind of crazy for just a crappy cylinder blaster like this. Let's actually show you the chronograph. Oh, there we go, 96, which is kind of crazy for something that I doubt was getting more than 60 to start with. 78, inconsistent because I'm not holding it with both hands, because I'm actually able to push the handle forward and get the steel better with the mod that I did. But yeah, complete waste of time. Unfortunate. So just a disappointment. 95, 103, 98. I mean, like, I'm getting decent performance, but this whole swappable drum thing was a complete waste of my time, unfortunately. I probably just try to modify these to make them very user-friendly, not worry about swappable drums, clean up that awful manual rotation, because you can tell that spring is super rough for no reason. It's like twice as strong as it needs to be. You can tell my modded one, it's so much smoother, but And I actually bought 3 of these stupid things. Money well spent. Just buy a turbo advance. Alright, well that was me complaining about the SurgeFire. Hope you enjoyed the video. I think from now on I'm just going to stick to these. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, this has been Carius reminding you to have fun. I think I could do with these. There we go. Use the flying chicken strategy. The only thing that's missing is SurgeFire. Maybe I can do something about that.